Hello, everyone, and welcome to Duluth Business Now, the official podcast of the Duluth Business Association. My name is Lisa Thompson, and I am the president of the DBA and the moderator of today's show. The Duluth Business Association, formerly known as the Duluth Merchants Association, is a local business networking group that has been in existence since the 80s. Our purpose is to provide a social and professional environment for businesses to talk to other businesses. Our mission is to connect our members with each other and the Duluth community. Although we are located in Duluth, Georgia, we also have members from nearby areas including Suwanee, Johns Creek, Sugar Hill, Lawrenceville, and Norcross. We are excited to be here recording our brand new podcast series, Duluth Business Now, with Business RadioX. We are broadcasting from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the fabulous Gas South Convention Center. Duluth Business Now is member-sponsored by Crosspoint Realty, Knick-Knack Products Group, Profound Wellness, Lily's Boutique, Rainbow Village, Home Access Mortgage, Gwentage Wine Bar, and Morsels Catering. The title of our second show is Oh, the Places You'll Go in Your Business, an inspiration from the 1991 Dr. Seuss book. Did you know that 50% of new businesses fail within the first year, and of the remaining 50%, 70% will fail within 5 years? And we want you to succeed. And so today we hope to heighten your financial awareness, share experiences that show how some business issues can be avoided, and where to access support along the way. Joining us today are 4 members from the DBA. Karen Walker from McClellan and Associates CPAs, Michelle Parrish from Genesis Engineering Collaborative, Alicia Cole from Lily's Boutique, and Paul Shin from Loyal Trust Bank. 2 of our panelists are successful business owners, and the other 2, the lender and the accountant, have a unique overview gleaned from their experience with small business clients. But before we begin, I'd like each of you to briefly introduce yourselves and tell us your position, what you do for your company, and a brief description of the services you provide. Karen Walker from McClellan and Associates CPAs, we'll start with you.
Hello, I'm Karen Walker. I'm an enrolled agent and the tax accounting manager for McClellan and Associates CPAs LLC. We provide tax services and also bookkeeping and advisory services to businesses in the Duluth and just greater Gwinnett County area.
Wonderful. Next, we'll hear from Michelle Parrish from Genesis Engineering Collaborative.
I'm Michelle Parrish with Genesis Engineering Collaborative, and I'm the managing partner there. We are a women-owned civil engineering firm, and we do land development for primarily commercial and industrial projects across the Southeast.
Excellent. Alicia Cole from Lily's Boutique.
Hello, Alicia Cole with the Lily's Boutique. I am the CEO and founder of the 2 locations, one in Duluth and one in Sugar Hill, where we offer personal styling, style consultation, as well as candle making classes. And we service the greater Gwinnett.
Wonderful. And our final panelist, Paul Shin from Loyal Trust Bank.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm actually the manager of deposit development. We are a small community bank, only 4 years old, single location located in Johns Creek. Actually, the only bank chartered in Johns Creek, believe it or not. What we do all sorts of things, small business lending, residential loan mortgages, and everyday banking products.
Thank you so much. Welcome, all 4 of you. I'm so glad that you decided you could work with us today and be here for this presentation. We're very happy to have you. So, Karen, what can happen if we as business owners lack a clear understanding of our financial statements and we don't have a professional like a bookkeeper or an accountant to help us review the data?
A business owner without a clear understanding of their financial statement is much more likely to fail. It is important that you know how your business is doing. Many business owners focus only on the profit and loss statement and believe that if they are showing income, that they are in a good position. However, the balance sheet is the true indicator of how your business is performing.
What's on the balance sheet that's not on the profit and loss that would be an indicator?
The balance sheet not only shows your bank account balance, also shows any loans that you may have and money that you've taken out of the business for your personal use, and your assets, what you have and how much has been depreciated.
Is it possible for me to make lots and lots and lots of sales and just really be bringing in that money and not actually have any money to put in my own checking account, in my personal checking account?
Yes, it is. When you have a loan, the interest is deductible, but the principal is not deductible. You've already used that principal to purchase whatever you purchased. So you don't deduct that. So you may not have as much money as you think you have, but your income is higher than you thought.
And how do I figure out how much I owe in taxes as a business?
You need a trusted bookkeeper or an accountant to help you analyze your financial position. They should be able to guide you through your financial reports, point out issues that need to be corrected or improved upon.
Has anyone else here in our panel done a small business loan or a grant of any kind? Michelle, didn't you do something like that with Genesis?
We did. When we started our business, we knew that my business partner had civil engineering experience. I had the management experience, but neither of us had a financial background, accounting background. So we knew that was a weakness, and we knew that we needed a professional to help us with that. So it just so happened that when we were at that point, I attended the Duluth Business Association monthly meeting, and one of the guests at that meeting was from the University of Georgia Small Business Center. And in talking with him, I realized that they had all kinds of services for free that we could access that could help us. And so we made an appointment, met with them, and the first thing they did was they set us up with spreadsheets so that we could track our expenses, so we could track the money coming in, so that we could budget, so that we could do projections for upcoming periods of time. And they told us, you need to get a CPA, and you need to have a tax accountant. And so we, 4.5, almost 5 years in, we still use those spreadsheets. Our accountant talked to us about different funding mechanisms, and we determined that for us, specifically, it made the most sense for us to take out home equity lines of credit to fund our business. And that was the least expensive way for us to do it at the time. So we did that. They set up amortization tables for us, and we actually paid our loans off 2 years earlier than we had planned. But we were able to do that because we stayed on top of our financials, and we had those professionals in place to help us and guide us through that whole process.
So when we say a budget, and I know if you work for a big corporation, it's like, well, you can only spend this much money. But on a small business scale, it's more about knowing what you are spending your money on. In other words, if you have a loan, your budget starts with what you're going to spend every month on expenses, right?
Absolutely. And we felt that it was important to look at those numbers on a weekly basis. So we do that to this day. We still look at them on a weekly basis. So we know exactly what's going out and what's coming in. And we can look ahead and know what big expenses we have coming up so that we can plan for those.
Exactly. Kind of like what we do on a personal basis, or what we should be doing on a personal basis, maybe for some of us. But it's very important in your business. I heard from the SCORE representative when I recently attended a seminar that people are not failing because nobody wants their service or they don't have enough clients. They're failing because they're making major financial mistakes, and then they get to a place where they can't sustain that, and we'll be talking about that more later. Let's take a quick break and hear from some of our other DBA members who make this show possible. We'll be right back.
Everyone deserves a safe space to rest their heads and raise a family. Yet with job layoffs, mounting medical bills, or the death of a spouse, home insecurity can happen to anyone. Sadly, the numbers are rising. Since 1991, one organization has sought to change that. Rainbow Village brings help, hope, housing, and healing to families experiencing homelessness, guiding families to stability and self-sufficiency. The nonprofit relies on your support. Please donate or volunteer at rainbowvillage.org.
It's easier to maintain your health than it is to repair it. Profound Wellness in Duluth can help with both. Their medically trained professionals use massage therapy to assist you with reducing stress, enhancing your health, maintenance, and recovery. Their intention is to provide a therapeutic massage for your individual needs, as well as support you as you make changes to increase your health, happiness, and well-being. Call Profound Wellness at 470-323-7665 to heal, recover, and rejuvenate.
Morsels by Melissa can cater any event that you are planning. They cater weddings, corporate events, private parties. They offer plated dinners and even cooking classes for team building, or maybe just some fun with friends. Morsels by Melissa offers family meals for each month. You can enjoy them fresh or freeze them for later. Whatever the occasion, Morsels by Melissa is sure to provide scrumptious morsels for your friends, family, and colleagues. Contact Melissa Gunderson at morselsbymelissa.com.
Are you ready to elevate your style and self-care? We have you covered at Lily's Boutique, your go-to destination for sophisticated women's apparel, trendy accessories, gifts for every occasion, and luxurious natural skincare. Our soaps and candles are made in-house with all natural ingredients and essential oils. With 2 locations, downtown Sugar Hill and historic downtown Duluth, indulge in the ultimate shopping experience or visit lilies80.com. That's LILLIES80.com.
Welcome back to Duluth Business Now, the official podcast of the Duluth Business Association. I'm Lisa Thompson, 2024 president of the Duluth Business Association, and we're talking about the importance of what is happening financially in your business. Our guests are Karen Walker with McClellan and Associates CPAs, Michelle Parrish with Genesis Engineering Collaborative, Alicia Cole with Lily's Boutique, and Paul Shin from Loyal Trust Bank. So we just spent a few minutes talking about some of the things that can happen, or some of the ways that we can watch what's going on in our business and be aware and plan and thereby have control over the income and outtake. What are some of the things that we can do or that you've already done as business owners that helped you position yourself to be able to weather challenges as you go through your business?
One of the things I would say is, as Michelle mentioned, always watch your financials. Make sure you stay on top of what's going in, what's going out. Make sure you have a budget. I even include my employees' salary, like their wages, in my budget as well. So that's one thing a lot of people might not think of. Yeah, their wages need to go into your budget as well, so you can know how much you have to pay out for that every month as well. And also making sure that you think about the purchases you make before you do. If you really don't need it for your business, hold off on it. Some things you really do need and some things you really don't need.
So that's a really good point, Alicia. What about the things that you need, but how do you determine if you can really make that happen and balance out the income and make sure that you have it coming in? Most of us don't know how much income we're going to have coming in from month to month.
If you're first starting, that's where your budget sheet come in. When I opened mine, I went through and I have a personal spreadsheet, so I just made it over for my business spreadsheet and listed out everything I need down to the toilets, cleaner, and everything. So I made sure I had everything listed out down to the dollar. But that way you know how much you need to make it happen. And you don't want to go in, okay, I didn't even think about I need a trash can, or I need hangers, or I need cleaning supplies, Lysol for your business, because you do. And so you just want to include all of that. And some of us don't, and that'd be a couple of $100 right there that we didn't anticipate for.
Right.
One of the things that we felt was important was to start saving money right off the bat. So we also set up a retained earnings account. And every month we started putting a little bit into that retained earnings account. Initially, it wasn't a lot because we needed the money to start up. Right. But over time, we were able to grow that account. So we now have about 6 months of operating expenses sitting in that account. So that if we do have a bad month, we know we've got that to pull from. And it's also a place that we can use if an opportunity comes along that might cost us a little bit more and we don't have it in the budget, we've got a place to work from so that we can, maybe do something that might benefit us.
I hear you.
And that goes to the fact that you should have at least 5 accounts. Your expense account, one for your taxes. You need to have one for your savings, as you were saying, but you should have accounts broken out. I have one for just income, one for expenses, money coming in, making sure you separate those, but you definitely want to have one for taxes too. That will help you out a lot as well. Just put your tax money to the side.
There's nothing more depressing than getting to the end of the year and your accountant says you owe another $5,000 or some figure that sounds like a lot of money to you, and that's just no fun. And you're going to still have to pay it. It doesn't matter if you were holding it back and you may get penalties or interest. Karen, what are some of the things that a business that you would recommend to your clients to do to help them prepare to be more stable, more able to handle the ups and downs of a business?
Well, as a business owner, even if you don't do your accounting and bookkeeping and you have an employee or an outside person that does it, you need to stay on top of the information. You need to know how much money you have. I have seen businesses fail because of employee theft. They give themselves raises and they just tell the managers or the owners, the books aren't ready for you to look at right now. I've got some more work to do. And the owner never looks at the books, and then they get the surprise of their life when the IRS sends them a notice saying, you haven't paid payroll taxes in a year.
I also have a business, Thompson Hypnotherapy. But one of the things that I do every month with my bookkeeper, and I didn't used to have a bookkeeper, and things got backed up. But now every month I categorize everything myself. I mean, every transaction, I know what it is, I have a receipt for it, and I know where it's going. So I have that mental calculation going on in my mind every month. And it's so critical because I forget. Does anybody else forget? Like, oh, yeah, we're going to have to pay quarterly taxes in another month, right? You forget these things, so it's important to know. Paul, do you have anything to add?
Going back to what Alicia had said about having different buckets, and I think that's critically important. If you think about what she said, if you get all your income and you put it into one bucket and all your expenses go out in the other bucket, that right there, you put them side by side, you know exactly generally what your profit is, right? So it's a great tool, and there's it's so easy to open bank accounts for businesses now. So you should have multiple bank accounts to separate those buckets. And like you all have said before, having rainy day funds, that's so important. We don't know what's going to happen with the economy in the next year. We don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. There are people that buy stocks and say, hey, oh my gosh, it went down 50%, and that's just in a day. So you don't even know. But what we can do is, we've taken the time as business owners, and I've owned a business before myself, but we've taken the time to know what we're going to do in our sales projections. And like Alicia had mentioned before, all those little expenses that you don't even think about. So you've taken the time to do all that. Well, let's just make sure if there's anything that goes wrong, we know what's going to happen. We need to know the worst case scenario, and we need to know what the best case scenario is. And we need to make sure we're staying within those bounds. And I think that's a great kind of tool to keep in mind.
What is that great saying? Plan for the best, prepare for the worst.
Exactly.
It couldn't help you more in business. And how much of our money is at risk in our businesses? 100%.
Yeah.
100%. How much liability are you liable for if you've made a commitment and then your income doesn't support that commitment? How much of that are you still liable for? All of it. There are no creditors coming to negotiate with you in your business. So, Alicia, you are an amazing business owner for a couple of reasons, in my opinion. One of them is that you just opened your second store in Sugar Hill, and I understand you're still working a full-time job.
I am.
And so tell me, what motivated you to keep working a full-time job?
I actually enjoy what I do at my full-time job. I worked hard to climb the ladder, and then I have great benefits. And so that one helped me. Also, I did not want to, starting off my business, worry about paying my personal expenses out of my business expenses. So if I can keep the two separate for now, that was my motivation, just to make sure I had me covered and then the store can cover themselves.
And so basically, I hear you saying that your full-time job takes care of everything at home, and then you can focus on your business development taking care of itself. So when you started, did you start with your brick and mortar in downtown Duluth? Was that where you started your business?
I did not. I started doing pop-ups. So I did pop-ups all around Atlanta. So I had a clientele who already purchased soaps and candles from me. So I started by doing pop-ups and having a website where people ordered from me then. And then I started with the brick and mortar.
And then how long were you doing pop-ups before, and how did you know it was the right timing to take on a lease?
So I did save my money because I still work full time, of course, when I did the pop-ups. And then when it came and I found a lease, that was one I couldn't refuse. It was right price. It wasn't crazy amount. I said, let's get started. And that's when I knew. And I took the money that I saved up and opened up the first brick and mortar.
Can you hear a recurring theme, listeners, of the word savings? It's absolutely critical. Most of us know it's critical in our personal life. It's even more critical in your business life. How long was it before you were able to open up that first brick and mortar?
Maybe I did pops up on and off. I started right before the pandemic. So it took about 4 or 5 years before I opened up the brick and mortar.
And then between your first brick and mortar and the second location, how many years?
1.
Yes. But again, to me, that sounds like an incredible amount of work and liability. How did you know that timing was right for that second location?
So the opportunity presented itself to me, and I weighed all the options, and I looked at my opening check sheet from the first time, and I looked at what I had saved up from the first time opening. So I looked at that check sheet, and I was like, okay, with what they're presenting me, and I told them no a couple of times, and they'll keep working with me. I just knew it was time, and it was the will to be done.
So it's really about waiting for the right opportunity is what I hear you saying.
Yes, it has to be the right opportunity.
It's not necessarily the first opportunity, but you really got to think it through. Mm-hmm. And it's really got to fit. None of this, we'll make it work. That's
Make it work doesn't work. Make it work does not work.
Make it work works when you're going to networking meetings or when you have things on your list to do to build your business, but it doesn't work in financial commitments.
It does not. It works when you're doing a podcast, but not when you're opening up a business. No.
So, Paul, we've heard about, there are probably times when we need a loan. As a business owner, when would we know that it's the right time to do a loan, and what are some of the misconceptions that people have about doing a loan for their business?
Well, to answer your first question, the best time to get a loan is when you're about to grow or expand. That's when the banks will generally be a lot more lenient because, at the end of the day, like all loans, it's based off of risk, okay? And they look at all sorts of different things, not just your financials, but they look at your management experience. They look at your credit. Your personal credit comes into play heavily. Now, there are some loans out there that will just look at your business credit, but at the end of the day, this is a business that you believe in, okay? And the banks, when they're going to loan you money, they're going to believe that you as the individual, it needs to guarantee that loan. So your credit comes into play greatly. So quite honestly, if that's something that you need to work on, you might as well start doing that. Bit by bit helps a lot, and it goes a long way. The misconceptions about getting a loan, I'll give you an example. I had a customer that came the other day, and it's a business owner that had a business for a long time. Now, whether or not they had a good accountant, who knows? But I don't think they went to the proper accountant because what they did was they saved a bunch of money in their account, but every year they'd taken a loss on their business just to minimize those tax payments. Well, what ends up happening is when they finally need the money to expand to that second store or whatnot, they come and say, hey, you know what? I have a lot of money in my account. I'd like a business loan. Well, looking over their business, they've taken a loss every year. And the way the bank's going to look at it is, you don't know how to operate your business properly. How are we going to trust you to get a loan? So things like that come into play. And this is why having great partners, great accountants and CPAs comes into play. And also great bankers. This is something that if you're thinking about at some point getting a loan, talk to your bankers, talk to your loan officers, because when you actually need it, it may be kind of too late and you may have to wait a longer period of time. But if you're planning out for it like you did for your business, every little aspect of it, these things come into play, and having great partners goes a long way.
So I hear you saying, Paul, that you can actually counsel people on how to prepare themselves for a loan. And let's be honest, if you're positioned for somebody to give you money, you may also be positioned to do more things in your business than you can do now. It's all part of the having the retained earnings or the savings or the good position. And Karen, do you have something you can add that would be really helpful to those of us who are trying to sort of make a safety net for ourselves or make something more, give us more flexibility within our businesses financially?
Our firm prides itself on being able to teach our clients how to understand their financial statements and how to run your reports and read them. We provide training on your accounting software and provide hands-on support. If you have questions, you can call us or email us. We're very responsive, and we try to help you make the best decisions for your business.
So I had this idea. I want to keep an amount in there. I have a bottom line. We're not going to go below this, right? And so I had this idea. Well, I'll just take all the reimbursements out till the end of the year, and you're supposed to take them every month. And then I thought, you know what? This podcast series that we're doing today on financial has really said to me that is a bad idea because that's a monthly expense, and I don't want to take that before the month that it's actually due because then I'm sort of running a little credit card on my own cash account, and that's not going to end well for me. So I didn't do that because I became more financially aware as a result of asking these kinds of questions. And that's a great thing. I said, well, I'll just ask my accountant. I didn't even have to ask my accountant. I've had enough conversation now that I know that's not going to pan out well. Let's take one final break and hear from a few more of our DBA members, and we'll be back right after these messages.
In the heart of historic downtown Duluth, Gwen Taj Wine Bar is more than just a wine bar. They create a place where all are welcome to gather, celebrate, and learn about wine. No matter what the calendar says, they believe that every day is a celebration, so bubbles are always on the menu. At Gwen Taj, there's just one requirement: must love wine. With a friendly, knowledgeable staff and a menu of fresh, seasonal small plates, Gwen Taj Wine Bar is the ideal space to unwind and savor a well-chosen glass of wine.
Embark on a patriotic journey with Knick-Knack Group, a veteran-owned and operated business committed to honoring our heroes and preserving their legacy through gifts. Every product tells a story of honor, resilience, valor, and sacrifice of those who have served. Explore our collection at knickknackgroup.com, where we honor our brave first responders, servicemen and women, preserving the legacy of those who have served one item at a time. That's knickknackgroup.com.
Hi, it's Michelle Parrish with CrossPoint Realty. We are your full-service real estate experts for residential and commercial properties in Georgia. Buying or selling? We're here to help. From entry-level homes to luxury estates, our realtors have the knowledge, expertise, and network to make it happen. CrossPointRealty.com. That's CrossPoint with an E, Realty.com. Or give us a call at 404-452-5881.
Searching for a mortgage company that goes above and beyond for its customers? Look no further than Home Access Mortgage. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or refinancing, trust Home Access Mortgage to provide personalized solutions with a commitment to excellence. For more information, call Sharice Excel at 404-256-0555.
Information available through NMLS Consumer Access SM is derived from NMLS, the Financial Services Industry's online registration and licensing database. NMLS was created by the Conference of State Bank Supervisors and American Association of Residential Mortgage Regulators and is owned and operated by the State Regulatory Registry LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of CSBS. For more information, visit the NMLS Resource Center or the NMLS Federal Registry Resource Center websites. Home Access Mortgage NMLS number 149980.
Once again, welcome back. We have discussed some of the things we can do to help ourselves and to raise the level of our awareness. Now we are going to move in the direction of finding those trusted advisors, mentors, or other professionals that are going to help us navigate the challenges of running our businesses. Do any of my panelists have a mentor that they would like to share how they actually found that mentor or trusted advisor? And just kind of like is it like you meet and you go, oh, that's going to be it's like meeting the woman or the man that you're going to marry. Oh, that's the one, right? Or is it something more of a process and that is developed over time?
I think it comes in a number of different forms. So I think sometimes you do meet somebody that you just hit it off with right off the bat, and you have things in common, and you find that there are experiences that you can draw from. I know for us in the engineering field, we made connections with other females who were in the engineering world. And we became friends with a couple of female engineers who started a structural engineering firm, which is different from what we do in civil engineering, but similar. And we use some very specific software that's very expensive, and we have to have it. And these particular ladies were telling us about a grant that they thought we might qualify for. So that was one instance where that relationship really paid off, because we did apply for the grant, and we got the grant, and it was a 4-year grant that was probably valued at somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 a year, and we get it for free. So that was a huge financial impact to us. So I think that it's very important to get out there, especially other people in your industry. If you can network and talk to them, you can get all kinds of bits and pieces of information that can help you and really impact your business.
Excellent. I agree. Alicia.
So for me, I have a couple of them, but one of my biggest ones is my sister, my big sister. She has her executive MBA, and she's really good with financials as well as our financial advisor. But for me, when I got the store, she came over and I thought I was in trouble. She gave me a check to pay my rent for a year. So for me, that was a grant. And it was also inspiring because she's always bringing me around other people who have businesses and who are growing their businesses, and they always are coaching me. So I'm always over at different events. Like they have Leadership Atlanta. I met a lot of those who are CEOs who's telling me different things, and I'm learning different things for them. So sometimes it doesn't be just one person. It can be several people, because I've met a lot of great people who've given me some really good advice.
I agree. I tend to feel that it's a team, and the really top shelf people sort of come along and they may evolve. I mean, I have a financial planner that has been in the business 25 years, and when I first met him, I just really didn't like him that much. But as I got to know him, and he was playing the long game. That might be a criteria for a mentor or a trusted advisor. Is this somebody who's got a quick fix solution, or is it something where you're going to get steps and you can do the pieces? Because it's all fine and good to have somebody giving you advice, but if you're not ready to take the advice, or you're not positioned to take the advice, that's not as helpful. We're all in a process where we're going along step by step, and we want to stay afloat, and we want to be one of the 15% of the businesses that's here after 5 years and going strong. So what is the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center? I know you went to them, Michelle. Can you tell us anything about them?
They have a lot of services.
And isn't one of their services that they can actually find you a mentor? They can put you together with someone who can
connect you with people in various professions to sort of help you, guide you, encourage you.
They help you with grants too, right? Because I've been seeing a lot of things. They help you with grants. They help you with your small business loans applications. So they have a lot of services.
It's really across the board. And there's another organization called SCORE that's doing very similar things. I'm not sure if they're doing a mentorship for you, but they will help you beginning, middle, and if you're trying to exit your business. And sometimes it's just like it's just a different form of networking. You meet one person through one of these organizations, and they may be able to introduce you to other people. It's just another door for you to walk through and maybe find those people that are going to be helping you. But everyone at Small Business Development Center and SCORE, they're all trained. They're all successful business people. And so you're getting somebody that is of quality and has already walked the walk, and that's what you're looking for. Should we be ready to jump on board just because somebody comes up and says, hey, I got this great SEO, or I got this great marketing plan, and I can have your business on, up and running, I can have you making success in 6 months, everything will be great. What should we do when somebody wants to tell us that that's what can happen at our business? Is that How y'all feel about
Just
that?
give them all your money. I mean,
Just so you'll learn it right the first time, right?
I think everything comes with proper due diligence, and I think that's important. Don't just rush into anything. The reason why people are successful is because they've taken the time to learn their craft. I mean, again, if you talk to any business owner that's successful, for me in banking, when I speak with a lot of business owners, the number one thing you can ask them to, get them to talk is, tell me about your business. Because every single business owner, you're very passionate about your business. That's your baby. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you check with a lot of people is they check their bank accounts and say, hey, how do I look today? Is there anything that's compromised? They look at their website, they look at their sales, and they don't have time to do a lot of different things. So being prepared for whatever they're going to go into, the next venture, the next merger, is extremely important, and they're going to take their time. A proper business owner, at least, will take their time to make sure that everything is copacetic before they move there.
It requires patience. Everything will not happen exactly when you think it should happen, and you believe in what you're doing, and so it's about weathering these things. But how many of you here at this table have had an opportunity through networking or friends or some other connection where you saw or heard about a great idea, and you thought, I might be able to do that, or I might be able to do something like that? Has that ever happened to you?
Of course.
Sure.
If it hasn't, something
You're
is
not hanging out
right.
with the right people. So you're always looking to hang out with that person who's a step ahead of you, right? Not the people who are where you are at or behind you, because they don't have the walk yet. They don't have the fruit on the tree yet. And so you're looking for people who have success, and you want to mirror that or model that.
I agree with that. I actually met the owner of LR Burger, and I think they have like 6 now. And she doesn't probably remember. And I was asking her, I was like, yeah, I cry a lot. She was like, we own 6 restaurants and we still cry sometimes. The crying just gets less. And so just some things like that with people who's already ahead of you telling you it's going to be okay. And they don't know how that impacts you and motivates you. So sometimes just hearing that from people who have their number 6 in like 10 years, it's going to be okay.
What do you want our listeners to take away from this discussion today? Do a little synopsis for me, or if you were going to say something to our listeners about today's discussion, what would it be?
I think for me, it all revolves around having the right professionals to support you and to stay on top of the financials. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the money to do business, you can't do business.
Well said.
What I'll add to that is we're all trying to learn something. Every day. There's no one that knows everything. We're trying to learn every day. Even the most successful business owner, even Elon Musk takes a lot of time reading, get to learn something different, something new every day. So don't lose that spirit. But at the same time, when we're here together, when you go out to networking events, be inspired by great business owners. Be inspired by people that are doing well. Be inspired by people that aren't doing well, because it's a learning experience, and you're going to take away something. And I think we should always just keep our mind and eyes open so that we can be better from it.
Well said.
I agree. I'm always asking questions of different business owners. I'm always willing to learn. I'm always reading books. But I think to piggyback off you, Paul, definitely just listen to them. Ask questions. I ask questions all the time, especially if I want to learn. And keeping an eye on your books is key. I'm like Oprah. Oprah says she signs all her checks. I sign all my checks.
Oh, yes. That's a biggie.
I think you need to really seek out that mentor, that professional, and other business owners that have been successful, and learn from them. Get information from them. Ask those questions. It's so important to be willing to learn and to grow and to develop your business over time. It's not an overnight success normally.
So for me, it's always about hearing the things I don't want to hear, doing the things I don't want to do. And over the last 7 years, I've learned that in time, I can even move into the things that I don't want to do. And those people that are telling me the truth, those are the best advisors that I've had. I didn't always act on it, and I didn't always want to do it, but I always knew in my heart they're right. And you got to stay honest about yourself and what you're doing if you're going to be in business, because if you're not honest with yourself, you could fail. And we don't want you to fail. We want you to be successful. So with that in mind, in closing, the DBA meets on the second Tuesday of each month in a different location. And if you're interested in attending one of our meetings, please email us at duluthbusiness@gmail.com or visit our website at duluthbusiness.org. I want to thank everyone on our panel today. I think you did a fantastic job. And I want our listeners to know that our mission is to help you succeed. Most of the businesses, at least 2/3 of the businesses in the DBA, are maybe within that 5-year mark, right? And just approaching. And we want them all to be successful. We don't want to lose members because they are no longer in business. That's very sad. So we're here to help. This has been Duluth Business Now, the official podcast of the Duluth Business Association. This series is presented by Crosspoint Realty, Knick-Knack Products Group, Profound Wellness, Lily's Boutique, Rainbow Village, Home Access Mortgage, Wentage Wine Bar, and Morsel's Catering. Until next time, I'm Lisa Thompson, and this has been Duluth Business Now on Business Radio X.